Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show, talking today about the missing piece in your millwork that will make all the difference in the world and elevate you, allow you to do better work. Come join me. What I'm talking about today is the frieze, okay? Now the frieze, F-R-I-E-Z-E, okay, is the third part or the middle part of the entablature, okay? So here's our Doric order, right? We've got our column and an entablature sits on top of it, okay? The entablature is made up of three parts: the architrave, the frieze, and the cornice, okay? Now, I suspect everybody can get the architrave right because that is all that is the door casing, right? And so if we look at these things behind us, right, we've got three different types of door casing there. That serves as the architrave, okay? You'll look back in catalogs from the 1820s and 30s and 40s, and it doesn't say door casings and window casings, it says architraves, okay? So you're already doing one, right? You're already doing one part of it. The problem is that a lot of guys will then take the door casing and build crown right on top of that, and it's not right, okay? It doesn't look right. Now, if you remember some of my classical videos where I talk about all the parts and pieces, they do have a historic tradition and why they're there. So to leave a part out ends up making it look goofy. Here's a picture from UVA campus. This is the Doric order. This is this order, right? There's your triglyph right here. Here's our triglyphs right here. So the architrave is the first part of the entablature, right? The whole entablature is from here to here, okay? And this is your frieze, okay? That middle band where the triglyphs are, where those little long and tall pieces are. Those are meant to mimic beams as they come through. That's where our frieze is, okay? If we look at this door header at the Philadelphia Museum, this is the Samuel McIntyre room. Here's your door casing as it runs around, right? There's your door casing, that's your architrave. Here is your frieze, right? From there to there, that's your frieze, and then your cornice is above, okay? So that frieze is that middle part. The frieze is the area where it's decorated, okay? If you're gonna add decoration in there, that's where you do it. Here's William Buckland's Gunston Hall in Virginia. There are a lot of friezes here, okay? And this is a classical room that shows you a bunch of different places to put your frieze. You've got one in the fireplace, okay? So the fireplace, the marble surround ends up being your architrave. You've got this decorated area right there that's your frieze, and then we've got our cornice, okay? If you go above to the over mantle, you've got an architrave that runs around that frames that picture. This is your frieze right there, and then your cornice is above, okay? Same thing here, columns come up, there's an architrave, there's a frieze, and there's a cornice. It is all over traditional building. It is how they built. It was how things were put together. This is an opening that's at the White House, right? There is a door casing that runs around the opening. The flat piece right here is your frieze, okay? And they've put this panel and this Indian head panel in there, and then they've got a cornice that sits out over top. It's all over the place, guys, and I want you to understand how to use it because it is the pause in your work so that your eye can read things, your eye can pick up what's going on. Now, there's three different ways of doing a frieze. It is either a flat board, so we've got a, right, simple case door, right? This is our architrave. I put a flat board, it's just a 3/4 inch flat board over top, and that automatically becomes my frieze, okay? Now, if I'm gonna build a cornice on top of that, I start right here, okay? Now, this will elevate that door and lift it up. So we've got a flat board that can be your frieze. You've also got what's called a pulvinated frieze. That pulvinated frieze is basically just a rounded board that comes out. Now this one's been carved by Vossel, right? So we've got kind of these bundled sheaves here that come through here. This pulvination, okay, that kicking out is called a pulvinated frieze. And there's a second kind of pulvinated frieze, right? That pulvinates out and in, okay? So it isn't just a rounded over this way, it goes out and then it comes back in. So this now, my pulvinated frieze is here, and then a cornice goes on top of it, right? You got three different ways of doing a frieze, and they all elevate your opening, elevate your door, elevate your mantels, right? Getting that frieze right is a real key in building better. Another place you're gonna be able to use a freeze is building mantels, okay? And this is really important as you build mantels, because what's happening is mantels really require a positive freeze to look traditional and to look right. Now, what's happening here is this is your pulvinated frieze, right? Your fireplace, your architrave is right here, right? Maybe you got a piece in this is marble in here, and your firebox is down here. So here's your architrave going across. Now here's your frieze, and there's your cornice. Now the reason this one was made this way is because we had a marble architrave over the fireplace, and then this was built in. So we'll talk about cornices later, but right now I just want to focus on the frieze, and the frieze is this part. I've got a pulvinated frieze. Now it is interrupted by this panel here, and this panel gives this inflection, right? So what's happening here is these moldings run across and then they kick out to go around this panel, and it gives this mantle movement and inflection and makes it so much cooler. Okay guys, so the frieze, right? It seems like it's an innocuous, kind of silly, ad, okay? It's not. It's actually maybe the most important element when you're doing a door header or a mantle. You cannot just go from the architrave right to the cornice. It's too much for the eye. It looks diminished. It looks unfinished, okay? And here, just by putting a simple board over top of a door casing and building your cornice on top of that, right? All of a sudden, your doorways, your mantles, your pediments, everything looks better, all because you're introducing this very simple concept called a frieze. Okay guys, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Hull Millwork, Hull Homes. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. I'm Brent Hull, thanks for watching.